Hey everybody, Breakfast with Bob Babbitt here in beautiful Boise, Idaho. I am with 2019 Ironman World Championship finisher, the first double above knee amputee to finish the Ironman using a kneeler and running. Mr. Roderick Sewell. Roderick, how you doing?
Doing well. How about you, Bob?
I am spectacular. So, have you been up here to Idaho before?
This is my first time. I'm never really here for anything.
So you're one of those guys trying to balance multiple sports, right? You've been swimming since you were a little kid, and you went to the trials in both hand cycling and in swimming. How was that balancing that?
It's been tough trying to figure out, how my body's going to react to swimming so much and cycling so much. And I've learned that, cycling really builds up my muscle. So I'm a little bit heavier in the water, but I put more focus to cycling now and kind of put swimming just doing it on maybe once or twice a week, maybe 4,000 yards or meters, but really just focusing on keeping that strength in the pool, but really building on the bike.
The fascinating part to me is it blows me away with the U.S. being such a gigantic country that we had 10 spots for swimmers, male, and I think even less than that for male cyclists, with so many qualified athletes and a lot of money out there. Do you feel like you're swimming a little bit upstream trying to make these teams?
It's a fight. It's a struggle, and COVID has made it tough for a lot of us. I like the way that the athletes are still giving their all and putting their all on the line, and as long as we have our best that show up and are prepared to go to games and represent the country, that's the best we can ask for.
So as somebody if somebody had told you when you were a little kid you were going to become a world-class athlete, knowing that you were homeless and you really didn't see anybody who looked like you till you were 7, 8 years old when you met Rudy Garcia-Tolson, another double above knee amputee. What would have said to this Roderick about, hey, eventually you're going to be a world-class athlete competing in 2 sports and potentially making a Paralympic team in multiple sports?
He would have looked at you like, I don't see that happening. But you know what? I keep that in mind because I remember those days. I like Jeffrey said, I remember my roots. And I imagine if the younger me was watching, and it kind of makes me want to keep going. Just like these kids are watching now, they like to see somebody relatable, somebody like them that's doing something amazing, and it lets them kind of figure it out for themselves. What do I want to do? How do I want to be amazing? And that's just the start.
So did you race today?
I did the time trial today.
How was it?
It was rough. I raced on my training bike. I just got my new bike in, but I got to put some more time in and train on it before I bring it to a race.
So when you look at these kids out here doing a little hand cycling clinic and some kids on regular bikes, and you've been to a lot of CF clinics over the years, what does it mean to you? Because I know when you're racing, you're bummed because you didn't have a good race. But then when you come here and you sort of realize there's other reasons for you being you in what you're doing.
There's a different factor. Being here and just seeing these kids and their faces, I remember the original joy of I can ride my bike. I have my running blades. I remember I got my first recumbent hand cycle from CAF, and I was on it all the time.
Yeah.
So just to see these faces, I remember that feeling, and it makes me want to keep going and keep working hard and come back and be like, you can do it too, and actually see them smile and think, okay, I got this.
So you've had a back seat and a front row seat to Rudy's journey,
yes,
right? Knowing that he wasn't going to a 5th games, that he wasn't planning on leaving New York, and when COVID hit, all of a sudden he's out of a job. Both you guys ended up in Colorado Springs. What have you learned about Rudy through this? Because everybody's been counting him out. Nobody thought, including coaches, that he was going to be going to Tokyo.
I told him in the beginning, this feels like a movie, and I'm just watching it play out. Rudy and I, we've talked about this. We were started with a tough hand. We've said before, we came out the womb, legs 6 feet under already, and even with that, Rudy's got this will and this strength that's unstoppable, and seeing him apply that to the situation where he's just not going to stop. He's going to train as hard as he can and do whatever he can to get where he needs to be. It paid off. And so I never counted him out. I knew, I knew it was going to work out. And even if it didn't, he's.
So you two guys are obviously both above the amputees, one Hispanic, one African-American. What can you learn from Rudy? Because I see Rudy as this, I will do anything in the world to make this team. And I see you as a guy who loves it all, right? But going to that commitment's a different commitment than you've made to sport, right? Am I wrong on that?
Well, I've definitely committed to swimming, and it started with that fear and overcoming that fear.
Because you were scared to put your face in the water. Yeah. I mean, the fact that you came from a place where you couldn't swim at all and you were scared of the water, I'm sure when you're doing workouts, you're going, listen, look where I came from. This is fine.
Right. It's I think that's one of the things I've learned from Rudy and appreciate it the most is that understanding you kind of stand your ground, and any challenge that approaches, really just take it head on and figure it out along the way. Like you said, I was terrified of the water, super, super scared. And I thought for the longest I couldn't swim because of my legs or because I was black or whatever other reasons people tell me. And once I saw Rudy, all those things went away. And so I think having that understanding of it's the person, it's the mindset that you have to really strive and continue regardless of your conditions. I think that's the one thing that's the best takeaway.
When you go to the trials this year in Minnesota and you look around, and there's David Gelfand, and there's Cody McCaslin, and there's Haven Shepard, all who started at the swim clinics that CAF put on, and you've seen them since they were little peanuts. And you were a peanut yourself when you started out. Right. But how proud does that make you of just what you and Rudy have brought to the table? Because basically it's Rudy and Roderick. You guys are sort of connected. You guys are together. But seeing those kids who have followed your lead and now Haven's going to the games.
Haven's going. Ezra's going.
Ezra's going. That's right.
Desmond's going. These guys.
And I think Rudy knocked Gelfand out.
I think so. David was hurt, but he's one of those all of them, they're strong. They have another games in them, if not this one. Oh, yeah. And I did feel like a dad. I was sitting there crying, taking pictures with everybody, oh my God, just to see them grow and see what they become and see the effect on others. Right. It's a ripple effect that I didn't imagine.
Being part of the CAF family and being here since you were 7, 8 years old, what does that mean to you, being part of the CAF family?
It's I remember being introduced to CAF. And I thought, this has been here, this has been around. Oh my God, this is such a nice community. And it's only grown, it's only grown. The individuals that have been around from the beginning are always together, we're always there for each other. And now people are coming in and saying the same thing, this is here for me and my family. These are here for people like me. It's something that it's hard not to get behind. You want to support, you want to be there. And knowing what that support does, the fact that Rudy is going for his 5th games, the fact that I was able to finish an Ironman, and the fact that these kids behind us are coming up and doing even more phenomenal feats, it's it lets you know what can come from love and support from a community.
What's fascinating a lot of times when you're swimming, you're off on your own, it's dark in the morning, you're out in the pool, and at that point you were mainly just swimming. All of a sudden, in a very short period of time, you run a 1:39 half marathon, you get invited to Kona, you go to Kona, become the first double-above-knee amputee to finish the race. Everything happened so fast. Yeah. How long did it take to settle in? Because you became a star pretty much overnight.
It was an experience. It was a great experience. I'm glad that you were there and Rudy, and I had such a huge support behind me. Yeah. And I just kept in mind what's important. Who are we doing this for? Because it's much bigger than us.
And you knew there were kids watching.
Yes, exactly.
CAF kids watching.
Exactly.
All over the world.
Exactly. I got to make them proud.
So you couldn't freaking not make it.
I had to finish. First try, first shot.
And now you got bragging rights because you did a first try. You finished Ironman World Championship finisher, and Rudy missed in Kona, made it in Arizona, but Kona, come on.
He did give me a hard time, though. His time is faster than mine.
Oh, that was Arizona. Come on, different game.
Very true. I said the same. I do love that it inspired me. I didn't know about the kneeler. I didn't know about hand cycling when it comes to the kneeler. I only used the recumbent. And getting the kneeler and going to Kona and putting in those hours and hours on training, I think that's what made me fall in love with it, to the point where I was I would love to go ride my bike. Right. And that's what brought me to this new stage now where I'm I meet Freddie De Los Santos, and he's 51, killing it, going to games.
Right.
That's my inspiration. Oz, another example. I think he's 46 or something like that. Yeah. These guys are, and these are, ex-military. These are men that I can learn a lot from. And the fact that they look at me and they say, "Oh, we believe you got it," that's all I need to hear.
I love it. New bike, and you're going to go kill it. And so, any more triathlons moving forward? Or are you going to focus on the hand cycle?
Apparently, Jeffrey said we're doing
Oh, we're going to Israel.
going to Israel. I didn't know that.
You're going to Israel. Sorry.
I'm up for it. But yeah, mostly cycling right now. Again, swimming has changed my life phenomenally, and I wouldn't have been prepared for Kona if it wasn't for swimming. I actually spoke with a friend the other day, and he told me that I was like Disney, and what does that mean? He said Disney used to be afraid of mice, and I was like, wow, that's mind blowing. Because without swimming, I don't know where I would have been. It got me to where I am now, and now I'm off to a new feat.
Roderick, as always, thanks for being part of the CA family.
Thank you for having me.
Roderick Sewell has been our guest again. Breakfast with Bob. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.